Eric here to tell you a little bit about Mud Creek Canyon at Mount Shasta in Northern California. I was walking along today on the advice of a couple of my fellow campers whose tracks I followed to get out here. It's a little side trail from the normal summit trail that everybody follows, but it's definitely rewarding, definitely some of the best mountain scenery I've seen in a long time. The Mud Creek Canyon is one of the larger rivers, streams, that falls off the side of Mount Shasta's southeastern flank. Sorry, I had to think about that for a little while. As we look at the view here, which is almost impossible to describe, the summit is going to pan towards the center of the camera, and it's real windy. Sorry about the noise. You can see the summit here. The crest of the ridge, the main ridge of the mountain, falls over to Thumb Rock over here, center of the camera now. And then Mud Creek just falls away so sharply down to a serious waterfall over here in the center of the camera now. And then the canyon and the creek flow southeast past a number of steep cliffs, almost Martian-like rock formations, towers of volcanic ash and sediment and boulder, 50, 70 feet tall, precariously balanced and carved by the wind and the water. And then the canyon falls to the north of what's known as Sergeant's Ridge. Sergeant's Ridge is layers upon layers of volcanic ash and lava flows that then cap that ash, creating an almost tiramisu-like appearance that we see in front of the camera now. And then the creek and the canyon flow miles and miles and miles out towards the southeast and east of the city of McLeod, California, which is where I drove in from. Now let's go through things in a little more detail. If you've got a moment, stay with me. We'll pan back around and I'll show you the pumice field that I crossed to get over here. So as intimidating as the view might look, where I'm standing and how I got here is actually a very safe, very easy hike. There's no place to fall. There's not a lot of elevation gain. It's not even very hot. It's just a beautiful day. I'm going to pan back around to where we started, towards the summit. We can begin to see the summit trail towards the center of the camera now, and the summit itself, of course. And the edge, marked in yellow, approaching the summit and towards myself, is a line of pumice that marks the edge of the canyon, which I'm standing quite a ways away from. Don't worry. Now, let's take a look up towards Thumb Rock. We can see the summit in the center. The false summit, I should say. The actual summit is behind this peak. Zoom in and let's get a better look. And it's gotten windy. Woo! So that's the false summit of Mount Shasta, about 13,000 feet. I hiked up beyond that on the other side, and then pan over past Glacier. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but we'll zoom out a little bit and get back towards Thumb Rock, which is another simply magnificent layered volcanic formation, probably an ancient cone in and of itself. Thumb Rock really kind of marks the head of the canyon as we looked at it earlier. I'll zoom out a moment again so we can see it in perspective. Thumb Rock is kind of the centerpiece, the crown jewel of the canyon, I guess you could say. Now looking down from Thumb Rock, I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can see this magnificent waterfall, which is about here. Water just falling thousands of feet. Glacial snow melt. More beautiful than you can really describe in a video. Now let's zoom back out again. We've got that waterfall at the base of Thumb Rock, the entrance to the canyon. Let's take a look at some of these alien-looking rock formations I mentioned earlier. This one's particularly fun. There's a boulder, a large volcanic throwout that's layered on top of ash and cinder. And this whole formation is probably actually quite delicate. But it's just balanced just so, and carved by the wind just so that it balances that huge rock on top of that tower. That one's on this side of the canyon. If you look to the other side of the canyon, you can see all these trees. All of these are going to fall down sooner or later. As the mountain erodes, there's more underneath. There's a whole bunch of them. The sort of thing I would almost expect to have seen in, say, Utah, not in California volcano country. That concludes my little guide to Mud Creek Canyon on the southeast slopes of Mount Shasta in Northern California. Hope you enjoyed the ride, at least a fraction as much as I have. Talk to you soon.